Should I write it down?
So just to clarify, so basically the observational is the groups are basically just studying.
Just observe.
Or observing. And with the, I'm sorry, and with the other one.
Designed experiment?
Yes, with the design experiment, it's more factual?
Yes. So we intervene. Researcher intervenes. I'm sorry, I forgot to turn off my phone, but I didn't really forget because some students cannot get in and they will have to call me. So researcher intervenes. How? For example, applies treatment. Forms groups. Varies the explanatory variable to see what changes, if any, occur in the explanatory, in the response variable. So as you see, a lot is going on here with design experiments. Is this better now?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect, thank you. How can, say it again? Say it again?
I was cut off from the lesson for like a couple seconds and then it got blurry so I couldn't write it down. So just wanted to let you know if I'm behind.
Oh, no worries. You want me to wait for a second?
Yeah, just a couple of seconds.
Oh, yes, of course. And that will give me a second to erase my error here. Because I post this and I want it to be as accurate as possible. So let's continue with census number 11. We know what a census is from our census this year, right? So from population census. But in general, census is not just for people, as I mentioned. So census collects information on every individual in the study. If it's a pencil, if it's a rabbit. So it means that census in general, can you still see here? So the census is collecting information on all individuals in the study. All of them. We don't collect a sample. Okay, we have three types of observational studies. And you see them here. And now let's talk a little bit about each and every one of them, and then I have an example for you. An example, I have 4 examples here, actually, and we will classify each and every one of them. Okay, ready? So 3 types. One is called cross-sectional. The other one is called case study. And the last one is cohort study. The first one, can I remove this page now?
Can you repeat the last observational study?
Cohort, C-O-H-O-R-T. cohort? Is this the one?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, the first one, the cross-sectional. So if you have this, if you printed it out, it's right here. We are in number 12 on page 2, cross-sectional studies, case control studies, and cohort studies, case control. Any questions? Cross-sectional. What is a cross-sectional study? Is when we collect information about an individual at a particular point in time. And that's it. We collect, we're done. So collect information on individuals at a certain point in time. Which is short. Not over 5 years. Like medicine is tested in a study. That's not going to be a cross-sectional. Case control study. That is when we look back in time. Back in time. And we study individuals in time, over time, but it's past, in the past. So we collect information from records, from their memory, behavior. So the key word here is really past. From records, memory, behavior. Last one, cohort. The cohort study is when we separate, identify a cohort, meaning an example here would be people with a very rare disease, for example, or a rare disease. That will form a cohort. They have a common characteristic.
So it's kind of like identifying a population that shares a common trait.
Excellent. Common trait.
Would it be associated with qualitative?
Yes, it could be. It could be associated with qualitative. It could be associated with quantitative, discrete or continuous. Yes. And this is for a long time. They are observed for a long time. So, keywords here. Short, past, long time. They are recorded, they are observed. The individuals in the cohort are observed over a period of time. The results are recorded. So this is something that you should easily remember. Cross-sectional, short. Boom. Case control, past. Back in time, records, memory. Cohort. Something that is characteristic to certain groups, and they are studied over time. Okay, I think we can look at the examples now. And let's see what we have here. Any questions? I love your own words explanations. I love it. Thank you. Okay, so let's read the first example. Research, if anyone wants to read, or you want to hear my accent, I'm sorry, I apologize for it, I always do. If you want, I can read it.
At I'd rather you read it because I don't have the paper.
Oh, okay, sure, no problem. So I'll bring it up so maybe it's easier. It's posted in the module. So researchers wanted to assess the long-term psychological effects on children evacuated during World War II. They obtained a sample of 169 former evacuees and a control group of 43 people who were children during the war but were not evacuated. The subjects' mental states were evaluated using questionnaires. It was determined that the psychological well-being of the individuals was adversely affected by evacuation. So, what would you say?
Observational study.
Very good. Excellent. Which type? Which type?
Cohort.
Well, remember the three key words. Short, past.
Within case control.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah, I would say.
Of course, observational. Well done. Do we all agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Great job. Moving on. Xylitol was proved effective. By the way, I know you don't need to know that. I'm allergic to it. I don't know why and how. Has proved effective in preventing cavities when included in food or gum. A total of 75 children were given milk. Sorry. Without xylitol, and were asked to evaluate the taste of each. Overall, the children preferred the milk flavored with xylitol.
Cross-sectional.
So, this is a little tricky.
Is it a design experiment?
Yes, I think.
Is that clear? They were separated in groups. They were given a treatment. The treatment this time, it was not a vaccine, but was milk with and milk without. That is the treatment. And then the responses were recorded. It's okay. Designed experiment. Agreed, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a fine line. That's why I'm going through this. Sometimes it's difficult to really tell. A total of 974 homeless women in LA area were surveyed to determine their level of satisfaction with the health care provided by shelter clinics versus the health care provided by government clinics.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yes?
Did we determine the types for a B?
We don't have types for designed experiments. Very good question. Excellent.
Okay.
That's okay. So for designed experiment, we have one type. It's designed experiment.
Okay.
For observational studies, we have 3 different types.
Right. Okay.
No problem. No problem. A total of 974 homeless women in LA area were surveyed to determine their level of satisfaction with the health care provided by shelter clinics versus the health care provided by government clinics. The women reported greater quality satisfaction with a shelter and outreach clinics compared to the shelter and outreach clinics compared to the government clinics.
That's cross-sectional.
So it's boom, short, question. Yes, no, you like it, you don't. That's it. Cross-sectional study. Perfect, last one. The Cancer Prevention Study 2 examines the relationship among environmental and lifestyle factors on cancer cases by tracking approximately 1.2 million men and women. Study participants completed an initial study questionnaire in 1982, providing information on a range of lifestyles such as diet, alcohol, tobacco use, occupation, medical history, family cancer history. These data have been examined extensively in relation to cancer mortality. Cause of death has been Yes. Cause of death has been documented for over 98% of the deaths that have occurred. So obviously it has to be a cohort, because what do they have in common, all of them? The disease, which is the cancer. Yes. Yes. It's a cohort study. They are separated from the rest of the people because of cancer cases. This is a very key element here, number 14.